Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome here from Katowice in Poland as we're about to get into the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers for Korea Part 2. That's right. We've already had 3 players from Korea qualify through Part 1, and we have another Korean already getting a direct seed in as Rogue was able to take, obviously, the WCS Global Finals in 2017. And now we're going to find out another 2 Korean players that are going to make it through to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice and fight for the lion's share of $400,000 down the line. My name's Kyle Laris. Alongside me, we do have Johan Todd Merlo. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Not sure why you say my name like this, but you know what? If you want to bring the hype, just saying my name, maybe it's a little teaser for what's to come and when the hype really gets going, when these games are going to start. And I'm sure they're going to be amazing. Last time, they already were great. We didn't see any Protoss have any success in these qualifiers so far. But when we look at the bracket here of this one, which we will show in just a minute, there is a Protoss in at least every single matchup. So I'm getting a feeling that we're going to have some Protoss success today. And we're qualifying 2 players, so we'll see. We'll see what races make it.
Yeah, as you said, you know, obviously the Protoss just yet have not been able to qualify through, but there's a lot of strong players that have already qualified through from our previous qualifier that you were able to cover alongside Wardy. So you had Innovation, Dark, and Impact going through from Korean server at #1 qualifier, and as I mentioned before, Rogue being able to be that direct invite, all important for him. Very, very nice opportunity for him as well. He's already accrued quite a bit of money from that global finals, but why not bag some more money, Todd? That'd be nice.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's going to be a big prize pool over there, $400,000 in total. Thanks in part to the war chest that helped elevate that total prize pool. And all of these guys, like, if you go to Katowice, like you know, obviously it's the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. It's like all of the Intel Extreme Masters are important, but at the end of the day, it's the most important one. And I think everybody would want to play on that big stage, you know, towards the end of the tournament, because so many people are watching and it's always so epic. Like every single tournament that we've had there and has ended, you know, in the big arena with, you know, 10,000 people in there, I think it left such a great impression onto everybody. So I think, like, for a lot of these pros, it means so much, right?
Well, for me, it was the best tournament of 2017 for StarCraft II. I think it was a phenomenal tournament to kind of witness all of the players being able to go through the group stages into the brackets in the final. And
I mean, TY stole the finals from his Protoss opponent, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Oh, okay, I see.
No, it was good. It was good.
Mr. $200,000 himself in TY, our previous champion. Let's take a look at the bracket that we're going to have coming up for today. Remember, it is a double elimination bracket, and it's a 16-man double elimination bracket. And as you mentioned, Todd, a lot of Protoss representation in here.
Yeah, at least 1 per matchup here in every single match. And we got 2 PvPs as well in there. And actually, yes, Stats versus Zest in round 1 is a big, big matchup. Yeah. We had a hard time picking what matchup we were going to do first. Like, obviously, not everybody plays Protoss, so we kind of opted to do one matchup that's not a mirror. And we're going to be covering Solar versus Classic up first, but some huge matchups really in there. Like, Linok against Hero, I think is very high up there. And the 2 Protoss assistants at the bottom are very interesting as well. Beyond Deer and Creator TY. I think on the secondary game that we're going to follow is going to be Creator TY, I believe. So if one of the games from the main series that we cover ends, we're going to jump into that.
Yeah, we want to keep the action going as much as possible. Now, do bear in mind it will be best of 3s all the way to a qualifying match, which will be best of 5. So up in the top bracket, in the upper bracket, we will have 3 rounds of best of 3s and then 1 best of 5, and that will determine a qualifying player. And then down in the lower bracket, lots of best of 3s going on, and then that final lower bracket final will be a best of 5 to determine our second player.
I think it's the ideal format, right? Like, if you ask the pro players, they will want to play, you know, best of 9 and as many matches as possible. But at the end of the day, it's just not realistic to do it like that. So a double bracket, you know, is definitely a good compromise, right? With not having like a million matches. And best of 5 for all qualifying matches is a must. So I'm a big fan, I think, of that format. Like, obviously, you can't always play many matches, get lucky in every matchups. Like, you know, everybody has the weakest matchups. You need to be a solid all around, and usually the players that we see come out of these Korean qualifiers, they're going to be the big favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. With some, as we mentioned, you know, big favorites already having qualified through. We will be starting today with Solar versus Classic. a match that we picked and painstakingly picked. As you mentioned, there were a lot of good matches coming into the start of this. But Classic's someone that shines for me coming into this qualifier because of how close he was last qualifier. I think it was 3-2 against Dark in the upper bracket final, and then 3-2 against Innovation in the lower
last
bracket.
match. Literally the last match. He was so close, but so far. So like, didn't quite make it. And now he goes up against a Solar who's been playing pretty well, I would say. Like Solar in the first qualifier, like in the open qualifier to make it into stage 2 here. He beat Scarlet and Cloudy. So he's already, got some good warm-up here for this. And it's PvZ, which both players, I think, are known for being quite excellent at. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I feel like you could say that about probably like almost all the matches there, but this very well could have been the qualifying match at the top of the winners bracket finals, So very, very good one. Yeah,
it definitely could be. And as you mentioned in the bracket, stuff like Stats and Zest, which was, when I looked at the bracket, I'm like, oh, that's my first pick. But then I'm thinking about how Classic's done in the previous qualifier.
And also you're thinking about the viewers that maybe don't play Protoss, that have literally zero interest in that matchup. Like all the Zergs and Terrans out there.
I think you were the hand of reason when it came to it, and said, well, there's a lot of Protoss here. There's probably going to be a lot of Protoss later on in the bracket as well. So
you have to compromise, right?
Like,
try and make everybody happy.
So hopefully, as I say, we'll be able to get some Zerg now to start things off, and then we maybe have some Terran down the line as well, because we are following the potential of that TY match down towards the bottom as well. Going up against Creator, I think you mentioned.
Which is a very good one as well. Like Creator, he just lost to, I think, Innovation. He was in the GSL. TY, he has his up and his downs against Protoss. Like Terran, generally speaking, is not necessarily doing the best. So I was looking forward to these matchups before it changes once again, with the patch that we got coming up. The maps are going to change as well. This may be kind of like the last that we see of PvTs in the current state of the game. So looking forward to seeing if the Terrans have found like, better answers and all that, and maybe we'll get to see some of these games.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, obviously Classic got so close to being able to qualify through the last qualifier. What do you think about Solar's prospects? Obviously, he's a tournament-winning player, especially on the international scene. But what do you think about him going up against Classic here to start things off?
I think it's a tough matchup for him. Like, he's going to have to be on no less than his A game to be able to win, because otherwise, Classic, like so many times, and I keep saying this, like we look at him and we underestimate him. Like he's not as big a fan favorite as many other Protosses. He definitely gets more flack, especially for his performances. Like so many times, he's had such strong performances, whether it was, back in the days, at the Intel Extreme Masters in Cologne, I remember that one, in which he already played very well. Or even at the Global Finals, where nobody really saw him, even get something like a top 4. He always seems to, kind of come out of nowhere and deliver in those important matches. Now, obviously, he didn't make it out of the first qualifier, but I really feel like he has a good shot of making it out of this one. So, for me, he's going to be one of the big favorites here to make it, because there is no innovation to stop him anymore. There is no more Dark. Rogue's not in there, so we'll have to follow a Classic very closely here.
I think he'd be very disappointed in himself if he didn't actually make it after what happened in the previous qualifier going into this. Obviously, for a lot of people around the world, international players, Korean players alike, you see everybody congregate around the idea of, I want to get to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest stages. You hear all the Korean players saying, I just want to be there, never mind win the thing. So it's very important for them to actually try and get that step forwards and get to Katowice.
I don't know, it feels like a little bit of a special tournament, you know? Like, to be honest, many tournaments in StarCraft kind of feel like that, where it's like, this family that knows each other and they go like on some sort of summer vacation together in a way, except there's actually a tournament going on and there's a lot of money on the line. But there's also this whole camaraderie, if you will, where like a lot of StarCraft players, they're really, really like good friends with one another, and they will hang out together in big groups. And I think that's also like what makes it really cool. I know, like, a lot of the Korean players, when they come over to Katowice, they hang out, in big groups in the hotel lobby, just like, I don't know, telling stories, having some food, having a good time chatting. So it's always a cool event, I think, to see these guys at. And usually they play pretty well in it, like a lot of the matchups, a lot of the finalists are those Korean players. Some of the finals that I remember very vividly was like the SOS versus Hero one, the TY against Stats more recently. We've had a lot of good games there.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the same thing. there has been a wide variance on how the finals have gone, but none of them have disappointed. You've got something like Stats and TY, which was just kind of
none of them have
masterclass.
disappointed.
For me, no.
Arguably the SOS one.
Look, right. All right, I was getting there. So you've got Stats versus TY, which was like a masterclass of PvT. Then you've got SOS versus Hero, which was just mind games to the extreme. It was insane. But anyway, we are getting into our first series of the day. Thank you very much for joining us nice and early here, as we have up to the top left-hand corner in the blue. It is Classic, coming oh so close in our previous qualifier. Can he make it this time? And down to the bottom right-hand corner in the red, representing Splice, it's Solar.
Hunting for gold.
That's right.
Is what their hashtag.
Hunting for gold?
Yeah. I think, yeah, Splice, every time I see this.
They recently changed their logo. It's a little bit different now. It's a little bit cooler. The snake's still there.
Yeah.
And the letters are a bit different.
Yeah,
they sent me a hoodie, so I'm very happy with
the
that.
The snake is the S.
Yes.
Right, in his form.
That's correct.
The staple of Splice.
The staple of... If the snake's not in the shape of an S, then you've got a problem.
Like all of a sudden, it's like a Superman logo. It's like, what?
No, no. It's like
that just wouldn't work.
Let's not start off too giggly. We could go down that rabbit hole quite quickly.
Has is not playing this one.
No, indeed. Indeed. All right, so let's see how Classic's going to approach this to start things off. Solar, I always felt like, was one of the greater Zergs when it came to, you know, early aggression, mid-game pressure, being able to really kind of dictate the pace of a game. But Classic's all around so solid.
Yeah. And like what you see from him usually is like all around, like he's very well rounded. He can do everything. He's extremely good with his target units. Target is still, you know, one of the builds that you will see a lot of the time in the matchup that Protosses are going to open with. He's incredible with his oracles.
Yeah.
And he has very crisp builds. He was one of the guys that I think before Legacy of the Void came out was playing PvZ up to its full potential, you know, with the sentries really dominating, hitting all the right timings and all that. And I think he's transitioning very well all the time, you know, like from expansion to expansion and even like between his techs. So he's such a dangerous guy. I was actually surprised. I really thought that he was going to be favored over Innovation, but Innovation just, I don't know what happened, man. He went full machine mode.
That's right.
Somehow made it to Katowice.
Yeah, that's what Innovation does. And I think that as much as, you know, Innovation, the monster in Korea, are able to, you know, take those big victories over there, I think he's hunting for an Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Championship. I think he sees, you know, the guys
he's
like
on the hunt
TY.
for gold.
That's right. Hashtag. Oh, no. I didn't know that hashtags existed. No, thanks. Thanks for putting that there. But someone like Innovation, if he were to become the champion of something like Katowice, that's, you know, that's picture perfect almost.
Exactly. People will be like, I told you Innovation was good. And it's like, well,
yeah,
like, no surprise here. First Adept actually gets sniped here. Classic. Was looking to try and do some damage, also get some information. Sees that nothing too crazy could be headed his way here just yet. It's going to be one single Oracle actually straight into at least one Phoenix from Classic here so far. And Solar, he did set up the third base quite quickly there.
Yeah. Noticeably, that Oracle left between the two Overlords, but it was just spotted by the Watchtower, so he has ample time to be able to prepare. He knew it was coming anyway, so those Spore Crawlers have started in a timely fashion. And another one going to start there just to save the drone. Not too bad.
Look at these spores. All I can think about is if they finished, they'd be blocking the mining quite a bit.
They would be.
Obviously, one of them going to be cancelled there. The Oracle, again, you know, like this is the control I was talking about. He does the maximum damage that he can and then gets out of there before losing it. Now Phoenix is going to be cleaning up the Overlord. What we've seen a lot as of late is Stargate Opener into Prism aggression. It's very effective, hard to scout for a Zerg player. And as I see Charge starting here from Classic, you have to wonder, are we going to see some kind of Templar Archives going down? And maybe, you know, a Charged Archon attack here. A lot of Protosses have been doing this very successfully. And nice follow-up scout here actually by Stoller. Spotting as much as he can here. 4 more gates are on the way and he's going to see most of it. Actually, he's going to see all of it.
And technically, he could have even seen that Templar Archives if you had clicked on the back. But I think the Overlord died before I actually saw it. But I think, you know, he's kind of getting the gist of what's going on anyway. 22 Lings in production to start off. Oof.
Yeah, Solar knows that something's going to be headed his way. He's like, all right, I've been there 1,000 times. Sometimes I've overdroned. It's not going to be one of those games, Katowice. I'm just going to make a lot of units, make sure that I don't die. And the Hydra then is going to be the follow-up here.
Yeah.
Interesting that he doesn't seem to want to go into roaches. Like the roach one was mostly for safety, really. Like if he was to really get attacked now, maybe he could crank out some of these to make sure he stays alive. By the way, at the same time we're following TY against Creator, I'm keeping an eye on that. And as soon as any of the games finish here, I think we're going to switch over so that, you guys don't have to stay out of for too long, basically, to get blinded and instead see some beautiful games.
That's right. Getting all the action going as fast as possible.
Blinded by Katowice's purple shirt.
That's right, man. I love the color purple. It looks fantastic. It reminds me of Heart of the Swarm.
Actually, isn't that like one of those purples that's like a wine, you know, like if you name the color in a fancy way, that would be like a wine, like a Merlot.
There you go. It's a Merlot.
Probably not at all, but
no,
who knows?
Nowhere near. But anyway, so yeah, you know, being able to skip on the roaches means that he can get up to those Hydras nice and quickly, have a lot of money for them, banking it up, getting those out now, and he's going to be hashtag on the hunt for a Warp Prism very, very soon. Here is Solar, as these Zealots and Archons moving across.
That's a huge force.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, there is no Banelings here against this, so
nope.
Usually you'd want to kite, but Charge Laws, they're so scary in any case.
He's bringing the Lings back here as well. The Lings are buffering for the Hydralists at the front. Lings getting onto those two Archons at the back, and if they get surrounded, they could get shut down. Warp Prism, though, microing, picking those up. Going to lose all the Zealots at the front, and that's going to force this back.
Not bad defense at all here by Solar, but the one thing he had to do here to make sure he defended was neglect his walker count. He's only on 52 against 49, so that kind of favors Classic here right now. Like, obviously, Solar is happy to still be alive. Luckily, he didn't underestimate it, and I love the transition, which came very quickly from Classic. He's like, oh yeah, you want to get the Glass Cannon army of Ling Hydra, maybe potentially into Banes? I'm going to transition immediately into Storm. He's going to get that super fast down on the map. Did he actually, wait, what? Did he cancel and restart it, or
Storm?
Did that get unpowered? Because right now I don't see it moving.
I think it's underpowered, unless it's a bug. It might be a UI bug, because I don't think that... Oh, Storm, no, look, it's half done now. It's almost...
Yeah, I think he was...
That was weird.
How was it unpowered? For a second. That was... What?
Anyway.
Okay, it's almost there. And Solar is still trying to hit a pre-Storm timing somehow. I thought Storm started so early, he was going to finish no matter what before. How many Templars are there, and how much energy do they have here? Because this is going to be very important.
I think he has like 3 or 4. There's 2 more warping in to start things off.
No shield battery, though. Oh my god. Couple shield batteries here do so much against this. One big Stasis wall is actually going to land. That's a big, big deal here. First Storm lands.
Oh, Banelings don't have speed, so they're going to actually get killed off quite quickly against all of that. And that really hurts a lot of the power that Solar has at the front here. Storms continue pushing that back. And it's a divide and conquer strategy with that Stasis wall doing so much work.
Yeah, that was pretty sick defense here. Like, Plastic barely lost anything. Now he's going to kill the units that were trapped. Going to lose 1 Immortal for it, but I mean, for the cleanup that he gets, Plastic gets super far ahead, and yeah, that's it. Solar is just going to get out of there. Classic takes a solid map 1 win here.
Yeah, very, very strong. Not only being able to put the pressure on, but also being able to just kind of recoup there.
Maybe we can just jump into TY Creator, by the way, because like this is the sickest timing right now. We're literally going to jump into this game as the big push is coming from TY.
All right, so what's
this
it
is
going
rigged.
On? It's rigged. We had a little bit of Hellion pressure to start off here, and TY has pulled the boys, Todd. Oh, it's 2015 all over again.
What is this, Throwback Thursday? Like, he's going to try to break him with some good old STB pool. Creator getting some PTSD from the old times. He was always the double forge OG, which has become the standard. And he actually just completed double upgrade. Creator's trying to wait for a little bit until he can have a couple Archons, which he just swapped in.
Todd, it's 50 army supply against W2.
Yeah.
This is a disaster.
Oh, I was looking. You can bet on that. And right now, Creator, 3 of his very important gateways were underpowered. Unless he's going to recall this probe, they are going to die. Creator, he needs to engage right now. He's going to come in from behind.
Yeah, he's trying with those Zealots charge locks up towards the top here, as well as the Archons pushing up against this. But the Steepac's even on the ground as well. He will clean up quite a bit of this. The SCVs really need to buffer for this. And then once that army's finished off, there's nothing more here for Creator.
Yeah, but this is all in here for TY. If this had been cleaned up, he would have been in trouble. He does get the win with a good old SCV pool. Man, I didn't... while I was looking at the push moving out on the map, I didn't realize the SCVs were there. It was really when the attack was just about to happen that I saw them. What a ninja.
That timing worked out well. Not
Going
only
old
the timing,
school. Sometimes you need to go old school.
That's right. Not only the timing from TY, but also the timing from production, the way the game's lined up. Let's go, bang, bang. More StarCraft action. I'm a bit hyped, actually. As you can maybe tell, we've got a lot of good games coming for today. A lot of good games.
That was cool too, because like, you know, for most of the game, you know, it was just your typical Protoss versus Terran, I would say, and then all of a sudden the big attack comes on 2 bases. Creator obviously is on 3 bases with his double upgrade finishing. And that was a crisp timing here from TY, very well done. So good on us that we caught that, because if this PvZ had gone 3 minutes longer, we would have missed that game entirely.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So where were we? Creator has won the first game here between him and Solar. Solar's attack didn't have that much power behind it. Not having Baneling speed.
Yeah, classic one, the first game.
Yeah. Being set back. Who did I say? Creator? Did I say that? They both start with C. Whatever.
Unless they just swapped account and they're in the same house together right now. No, Creator did not win.
No.
But yeah, that was very convincing out of Classic, as you would expect. This is what I was talking about. It's just so solid all around. Stargate opener into big pressure, and the transition is just brilliant. To go for Storm the way he did, a lot of Protosters would have been getting Starborn, you know, with more gateway units, which wouldn't necessarily have been that bad, because even though the first attack was defended, like I said, Solar, he stayed on the lower walk account to be able to achieve that. So maybe Classic still would have been in the game, but Storm is just so much more convincing. If you can get away with taking to Storm and you're facing Hydra Link Bane, especially against a low recon Zerg, you're doing something right. And that's what Classic had achieved thanks to his target harassments and then the follow-up attack. So the Storms landed. The Stasis Wall was huge, by the way, because like, he trapped like quite a bit of supply in this. So
almost a third of the army, I would say. And when you're kind of taking away that kind of power from it, and there was a good amount of Hydralisks in there. It was mostly Hydra Ling that were caught in the Stasis Ward, and then Banelings that don't have speed aren't doing anything without those units to be able to back them up, or at least try and push the army back whilst the Banelings are getting in position to do the damage.
I was surprised Solar didn't try to bait the Storms before actually going for the attack. Like, he actually went for it, but I guess it's easier said like when you're watching, and also like knowing that he has a timer on his head, right? Solar knew at this time that he had to go in. He had to do damage, because if he just waited for a little bit for the rest of his units to be free, he might have just died 10 times harder to a much bigger Protoss army. So he had to go for it.
Just getting an update, and then it will be the next map for Black-Pink between TY and Creator going into his game. We don't quite know which map is going to be between Classic and Solar, but once we get that, we'll be telling you and informing you. We'll probably just jump into that game straight away once it's ready anyway. So.
The no-nonsense, no-shield battery Classic.
That's right. That's right.
Doing his own throwback without the Mothership Core.
It seems that as much as shield batteries have their place, they've slowly gotten a little bit more obsolete, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, once they had that little bit of a mineral change.
That's such a big deal, 25 minerals. It might not seem like much, but that's like if you made roaches cost 100 minerals instead of 75. All
They'd
Zergs
never
would be
make
like,
them again.
Exactly.
Zergs would say they were useless.
What is it called? Inflation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, inflation isn't real in StarCraft. Like, people,
the roach inflation,
they would truly riot if like this kind of stuff happened. Even though there's been some changes. I remember the Ghost has changed in cost a bunch of times as well. All right.
Interesting changes coming up as well. You read the notes as to what they want to do with all that stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Let's see how they're going to play it out. It's interesting to see how open and willing they are to make these kind of changes at a rapid pace. They. There's no David Kim anymore, Saul. It's just they. There you go.
Oh, come on. So to some people, it's always going to be David Kim no matter what.
Yeah, I just blame him for everything, I suppose.
It's like that meme of like the guy that falls off a bike. You know that one?
The thing in the tire? Oh, which one?
Yeah, like the cartoon.
Yeah.
The guy that falls off the bike is like, Protoss. Like on his own, he falls on his own.
All right, let's get into game number 2. Down to the bottom left in this best of 3. In the blue, it is Classic, with a strong defense in the previous game. And up to the top right-hand corner in the red, it is Solar for Splice, on the verge of falling down to the lower bracket.
A strong, I would say, offense or like harassment into defense is really like what made him do so well It's a bit confusing, by the way, because we got like different games on different screens, but
I'm
it's the
having a-
same map.
Yeah.
They're also on Blackpink ETY Creator.
I was having a bit of a hard moment when we came into the game.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah.
which game is this now? But we're good, we're good.
Gotta focus more on the preview.
That's right. So Solar is already grabbing himself his expansion, getting that gas down. And Classic could arguably play out the same game again. His third base might be a little bit more open, depending on which one he takes, probably up towards the north. But aside from that, should be fine.
Hey, but keep in mind, if he does against something like the Prism and the Charge Loss and the Archons, on this map, it could also be harder. So it goes both ways, right? The third base being a little bit further out. Obviously, Zerg has creep, but before they reach lair and have stuff like Leer Reconstitution or Muscular Augment, it's still very hard to have the mobility to defend between multiple places against, prisms or potential, multiple ones flying around and warping in units.
Okay, we will clarify soon. There you go.
Thanks, Yogo.
Thanks, Yogo.
Chat message privacy is off.
A cameo appearance from Yogo there. Thank you very much, my friend.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Stargate here once again. Like this is just so incredibly solid. And yeah, it's gonna go down in the main base here for Classic. Solar was on top of his scouting, I gotta say, last game. I like the way it double-checked, for the second Overlord is brilliant because the first one usually won't really show you what you want to see. Like you can almost always expect a Stargate. But the second one is really what confirmed how many gateways there were, that there was the Templar Archives and all that, and it's really what allowed Solar to make enough units not to really take any damage to the first push. Maybe he could have drawn up slightly more, but again, I'm just kind of like nitpicking here because I have to, and I have to kind of justify, how he lost it. The counter-attack, I feel, maybe wasn't that necessary. Maybe he thought he was more behind than he actually was. Like, he could have definitely drawn up, right? I think, like, the worker count was 52 to 49 after the initial attack was defended. So if he just made a big batch of, like 10 plus drones, he would have been quite fine. But I don't know, maybe no confidence in later. It's so weird because, like, when this patch came out and like people started talking about the Infestor and stuff, like all of a sudden the late game Protoss air wasn't supposed to be that much of a problem anymore, and then it was Protosses that were supposed to be scared of the infested Terran and Infestors.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, in almost all the games that we see nowadays, it's again the Zerg being really aggressive, being kind of scared of the end game, and we've seen some scary Protoss end game from guys like Showtime and stuff recently, so we'll see how that evolves in the future.
Well, Ling actually got into that main base there from Solar, so he actually spotted the Stargate with that. He kind of expected probably that the Stargate opener was going to be the thing anyway. These Overlords. One of them has actually retreated all the way back, so instead of having to send 2 in without that Ling getting in, he only has to send 1 in now to get full confirmation. So that's nice. Saves himself at least an Overlord, unless this Phoenix hunts it down. As you can see, the Phoenix.
On the hunt.
Yeah. Is this the hashtag for today?
Something great was started.
Unbelievable.
Oh my god, he's going for so many buildings. Kills gets the drone as well. What a tear.
No.
Look, he's still on the hunt. 4 drones.
Oh no. It's never going to end. 10 drones in production though. Solar's ramping it up now.
Yeah. I think he realized that last game maybe he could have made a little bit more, but actually look at Classic. The big gateway explosion there. And Prism definitely should be starting any second now.
I mean, why fix what isn't broken? Just do the same thing again.
All right, Maynard.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, he says so much. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
And then punch in the face and all that kind of stuff.
He's gonna punch a hole right through his face.
Oh, Maynard. He posted a picture where he looked like Kylo Ren earlier. It was weird. An old picture. I replied. It was nice. Storm's on the way. So Classic's just, sticking to his guns, sticking to what's right. Ooh, 2 High Templars already loaded
Storm
up.
drop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's go. I like it.
Classic is like, well, last game, you didn't make many drones. You made enough units to defend my attack. You're probably going to do the same thing in this game. So I'll just Storm drop and kill the few drones that you have and not do the attack that made me throw away units. And guess what? He's actually right. Look at this. 53 walkers. Okay, here's the thing. if a big storm drop lands,
Mm-hmm.
Solar's already low on the drone count.
Yep.
What does he do? He has to go all in, I think. And then Classic, we've seen his defense. He already would have Storm. It would be so hard for Solar to make it work. The thing is, when you drop High Templars now, they attack.
Yeah.
So then you get this alert on the map, and you can react even quicker than before if you're a Zerg player, especially if nothing else on the map is happening.
And very important, he kept the Oracle alive from previous, and it will drop these storms. Oh, he gets 6.
Oh my god.
Not bad at all. Denies a lot of mining time with those kills too. So now he still has the Oracle alive. He can stasis ward on that third base if he needs to.
Solar's gonna move in here. Okay, here's the thing. On this map, the third base, we talked about it, it's secluded away from the natural base.
Yeah.
So you have multiple ramps and walls that you need to mine. And I think Solar's gonna try to exploit that, but look at how many High Templars there are, and he still has the Glass Cannon army. Oh my god, the first storm lands big time.
Really good storm to actually divide up those Hydralisks. It was actually a really good divide by Solar to keep some of those alive during all of that, but still another storm does hit. There's a few more, I think, almost available here for these High Templars. They're going to move in from either side here with those Zealots holding on the ramp. Archon moves forward, Storm hits, only 3 of the Hydralisks. Another 3 Hydralisks get hit. Only a few left over, but there's not that many Gateway units, Todd.
Yeah, I think Solar is getting defended here. Like, this is just not doing enough. He didn't redrone either in the meantime. He's only making units. He got 6 probes, which evened up the walker count. But, I mean, Classic is on much higher tech units here with Immortals and Archons. Or much higher tech, well, superior units, I guess is one way to say it.
Good micro, trying to get these expensive units back here. The Archon's almost dead. Very, very close to death as he keeps microing them back. Keep them alive! Oh!
What a psycho. Like, he saved both Archons with their shields entirely gone and about to die. Classic actually overextended here, by the way. He probably thought that Solar was going to drone, so he's like, I'll chase you and kill as much as I can, but no.
Gonna try and push forwards again, but those 2 Archons still alive. If you keep those alive and they get the chance to recharge their shields, then they are absolute menaces. We're very close to death once again. 50 arm supply against 32 right now. Classic just needs to hold on a little bit more because the worker count is even or a little bit in Classic's favor.
He's getting 2 more gates, he's getting a shield battery, but again, Solar keeps trying to exploit here. The fact that the third base is away from the second base here, it's kind of standing between both, forcing Classic to engage into him, which, I mean, careful what you wish for. These are chargeless Archons and Immortals.
He's still keeping the Archons alive. This one's so low, but it keeps getting shots off time after time. The War Prism's not being focused down. It finally died off, but it's done the work it needs to.
That Prism is on fire, man.
Yeah.
On the hunt for units to save.
Solar's like, please no more hashtag hunt, please. Let me all go. Just an update as well from TY and Creator. TY pulled the boys again. So that's all devolved into low worker counts as that continues on.
Yeah, quite a crazy game. We might get to jump into it here in a second.
Transferring down towards the third base now. Classic taking the supply advantage now.
I like the Lurker Den a lot because Solar has a decent gas income. If you can get a bunch of these guys and catches Classic off guard and does like a big siege on the third base, then Classic might have to take a really unfavorable engagement. So it was weird. I think like both players kind of, in particular Classic, overextended. Like he had the initial defense, but the thing is, he didn't even try to buy time to get more units to really crush the attack of Solar. He went in a little bit early and then he chased.
Yeah.
With like 2 Archons and like 1 Immortal. So obviously like he saved these 2 Archons, but I really feel like if you just sit back, you're so much better off because the bigger your army gets, the better it gets for you. And now we've got Lurkers morphing, all 6 of them. And this is going to be quite scary here. If Solar can set up a good siege, if Classic's not able to, delay this attack, and actually like he's moving out because his army is quite scary in itself. He's got a bunch of Immortals, which really help. How many observers do we have for Classic?
That
could be key. He has only 1. Where is it?
Yeah, I think it's with the army. Oh no, it's just natural.
It's in an okay position. If he was across the map, it'd be in much bigger trouble. I think sieging the third base here.
Yeah.
That's the winning move for Solar. If he can siege the third base, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. How is Classic supposed to engage into this? It's just so hard. These units will just clump up and die instantly. Solar gets on top of this ramp, and Classic immediately knows.
He has to get range for Storm somehow. Like, on towards the Lurkers. That's going to be the answer.
He's going to come in from multiple sides. Oh, no, he just recalls that.
Oh, he recalls the probes out.
Yeah, he's like, I give up that base.
I guess so. He's going to come in and trap all of this, though. He needs to land the storms. One big storm against 3 of those lurkers, 4 of those lurkers, in fact. Another one connects. And where's the observer? It needs to be here, but it's down in the natural, not really doing anything. Here it comes over, so he will clean this up. There you go. GG. Classic.
Oof. What a cleanup here. Really good job by Classic. Gets a quick and easy 2-0. And like I said, I think he's one of the favorites here to qualify for the Katowice.
We have the scraps of TY versus Creator going on as well.
Let's go.
I say scraps because it's gotten a bit weird, and this is how it's gone. He pulled the boys to TY. It was slightly countered by the fact that Dark Templars went across from Creator, and this is what's evolved from there.
Yeah, TY is defending, looks like, yeah. The last couple units are here for Creator. He's got a low HP Prism flying away. 9 walkers to 9 walkers, but we're talking about double orbital. Was one of the orbital burning?
I think it was burning in the sky. But I think it's managed to keep itself alive.
I mean, there's a Nexus on the other side.
He's repairing.
Mining.
Yeah.
What the hell is this game?
So, yeah, again, it was pulling the boys. Dark Templars were on the other side. He didn't have detection. He had to pull back with the rest of his army, I think, when it was like 17 workers versus 22. Keeping up with 2 games is really difficult, by the way. Like, watching them both at the same time. But I did my best, what I could. All right, so I'm going to push on with these Marines now and see what he can get done. And he killed off a lot more workers once again here to TY. There's no answer to these. As long as he has energy for scans, unless the Dark Shrine died. I'm not sure if it's still alive or not.
I think TY should have this.
Yeah.
Having an orbital here is such a big deal. I see there's something attacking on the other side of the map, though, around his natural. Oh my god.
Oh, it's so low. It's a Dark Templar. Look at it. He has no energy. He does have energy for a scan. Does it need to be landed to scan? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Land it, quick. Oh,
my god. Cat for your life.
Pick him run away. Oh, they can't with the first one.
That's so brilliant to stand behind the minerals here. But those Zealots are still pretty tanky. Stalkers still hit like trucks.
He wants that Zealot, gets it, and we'll be able to get the rest of these Stalkers as well here. TY, 29 supply against 18. Very, very close situation here. But it looks like TY is going to be able to be okay. As a scan dropped, got that Dark Templar here. And that should be the nail in the coffin for Creator by the looks of things.
Yeah, I mean, his gateway is going to be unpowered now as well. He's not mining.
Yeah, he's done for.
There's still like 1 or 2 units across the map attacking, but I mean, he's just going to go down to 0 walkers here. And what a ridiculous series here between these two. Like actually, even like both series, both of the first series that we covered. A lot of aggression, a lot of fights, and no longer game, no nonsense.
There we go.
TY gets the 2-0 win over Creator, and the Terran just beat a Protoss.
That's right.
Wake up your grandmother. Get people watching here this stream for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Qualifier, because anything can happen, apparently.
And we had to go back to pull in the boys. The SCVs coming along for the fight. I like it. It's been a long time since I got to see
The boys are
too
back
much
in
of that.
town, Katowice.
That's right, they are.
And they're on the hunt.
I was going to sing it, but then I decided not to. So that was a good first 2 series that we had here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers. Korea number 2. Good stuff. It was a bit flamboyant and extravagant, but what can you do? What can you do? What we're going to do now is we're going to pick some more games.
Yeah.
We're going to probably go to a break here after we look at the brackets, see how things have gone so far in the tournament. As you can see, Classic advances forwards. Zest and Hero are going to be playing against one another in just a little bit. And SOS and TY have events too.
Yeah, a lot of great matchups. Oh my god, a potential Sue against Classic. Are you kidding me?
Oof. Look at that, down towards the bottom. Trap Creator, Solar, Lenok versus Stats there. Stats obviously making it to the grand final of our previous Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. And if he were to get knocked out in a first round, that would be a disaster for his campaign.
I guess we could just head to a break and then we'll be picking the matches.
Yeah, I think so. So we're going to go to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. When we return, more StarCraft action from the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers.